Hi friends, and welcome back to a new episode of Let's Talk Elvis.
I'd like to talk to you a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of the things that happened from my side of the story. There's been a lot written and a lot said about what happened to me, but never from my side.
So today we are going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be reacting to some TikToks, some Elvis TikToks. I asked you guys over on Instagram to send me some of the TikToks that made you mad. Okay, TikTok, right? It's a scary place, I feel like, for Elvis fans, because people on TikTok are scary people sometimes. They will say anything, and it's usually a lot of the younger generation over there, so we all know how that's gonna go. I asked you guys to send me a couple of TikToks that you guys think were full of lies, misconceptions and everything, and all that good stuff. And today we're gonna be watching them together. First time reaction to most of these, like maybe one or two that I've seen before, but most of them, this will be my first time. And we will just be talking about them and debunking them if need be and all of that good stuff. So without any further ado, let's get on into it. Oh, also one more thing before I start. Some of these TikToks have like cursing, swearing in them. Some of them some of them use pretty hateful comments and words, anything like that, towards Elvis. I know some people might not like this kind of stuff or get upset by it, so if that's something that might trigger you in any way, maybe this video is not for you. It's totally fine if you choose not to watch it, but I just wanted to put that little disclaimer out there just in case that's something that might not sit right with you. Get into it. Here's the first one. Let's go.
Supposed to be getting up, but let's talk about Elvis. He had a drug habit, but I think we all knew that. But he also married a 14-year-old and had a baby with her. The shit was weird, but we ignored it. Now that I got that off my chest, bye y'all.
Okay, starting off with a bang, here we go. He didn't marry a 14-year-old, actually, so it's interesting because the comments on this one, like everybody was like, girl, he didn't marry 14. Most of the people knew what they were talking about, yet it's still up. Like, wouldn't you think that maybe you would take it down if you knew you messed up or that's not what actually happened? No, it's still there. But yeah, Elvis did not marry a 14-year-old. Priscilla was 21 when they got married. As far as the drug thing, I don't really understand why that was like mentioned. And as far as the drug thing, I don't think that really should have been. Why is that a reason that you hate him? Because he's a drug addict, you hate him? You know what I mean? That doesn't sit right with me. Okay, moving on to our next one. Here we go.
Girl, on God, I hate Elvis. Like, this man really stole from mad black people and didn't care. And it be the boomers that be like, oh yeah, that's the king of rock and roll. That's the king. Bro, this man is your king? This man is...
He looks so good in that picture. The thing about stealing, okay, I feel like most of these are gonna deal with that. They're gonna either deal with Priscilla marrying a 14-year-old or whatever they wanna say, and it's gonna deal with the whole stealing black music thing. If you still think that Elvis stole black music, come and talk to me, honestly. Do a little bit of research. I promise you, you will find out that he did not steal anything. And the way that she said that he didn't care, no, queen. He sang music that was around before he was, and he fully acknowledged that many times. He acknowledged that he did not invent rock and roll. There's actually direct quotes from Elvis Presley saying, I didn't invent rock and roll. It was here a long time before I was ever around. So saying that he stole music and didn't give credit or stole music and didn't care, first of all, he didn't steal music, and second of all, he did care. He made it a point to say and always share who inspired him and what kind of roots his music that he was singing had. So that's just all around false. Okay, next.
People were confused about not the king Elvis Presley, so let's talk about it. He treated women terribly, preyed on 14-year-old girls. He married a girl who was 14 when he was 24. He would spy on people having sex. When he broke up with his wife Priscilla, he pursued another 14-year-old girl.
Who?
He was an abuser and a predator and loved underage women. That's a big problem, and you shouldn't be glorified for that.
Okay. Didn't marry her when she was 14, did not have a baby with her when she was 14, did not prey on 14-year-old girls. Give me some names, drop some proof. Oh, he treated women terribly. Okay, give me some proof of that as well. We all knew Elvis had a temper, and I feel like a lot of times people who knew him will speak out about that now and kind of sensationalize it and make it into like some huge thing that it wasn't. Like, he had a temper, yes, but that doesn't mean he was going around beating up women and like slapping them across the face. Like, girl, that didn't happen. He did not abuse women. He was not a predator. I just want your proof. Hi guys, so I am sitting here editing this video, and I wanted to add in something that I didn't say while I was filming, but I thought might be a little bit important relating to this subject, and that is that there have been many people that came forward, written books, talked in interviews, whatever it is, not just women, but his friends, people in the inner circle, his family, that have come forward and said how genuine and pure of a soul that Elvis was. And I don't think, and I know a lot of people would back me up on this that knew him personally, that Elvis would ever fully intend to hurt anybody intentionally. With that being said, were the women in Elvis's life, the women that Elvis dated, were they ever frustrated mentally or angered mentally by the way that he treated them or by the way that they felt that they were getting treated? Yes. But I think that that is the case with many relationships. And if you've been in a relationship, a serious relationship, I'm sure you can relate. There are things that just make you mad and things that the other person does where you're like, can't they see that this isn't, I'm not vibing with this? I think that's a very human quality. And I think that that's very apparent in a lot of different relationships and something that isn't fully his fault. But I also think that Elvis wasn't completely sound that way. I think that he was still figuring himself out. He was still figuring out other people. He was still figuring out his place in this life and in this world and his purpose here. And that's a lot of stuff to have to juggle in your mind, and then along with caring for somebody else. And sometimes it came out, that frustrated side of him came out because there was literally so much that he was dealing with mentally, physically, oh my goodness, physically, emotionally, all that stuff. And so I feel like there was a lot of emotional and mental tension in a lot of his relationships because of who he was, of his mindset and what he was trying to figure out within his relationships and also within his personal heart and his life in general. So when people talk about him being abusive and women talking like, oh, he didn't do this or he neglected me this way or something like that, I'm like, well, that could go for literally any relationship because it's not going to be smooth sailing 100% of the time. Now, did Elvis physically abuse his women or his friends? Never I don't think he ever intentionally did that. And I don't think he ever would want to physically hurt anybody. Did he beat up his wife? No. Did he beat up his girlfriends? No. He was never physically abusive. And so I think that's what this guy is saying, is that he was a predator and a physically abusive person. And that's why we shouldn't stand him. But I think he is fully mistaken on that part. So I hope this made sense. It probably did not, but I just wanted to add that in there because it's something that I was just thinking editing this video, and it might be of some help. Okay, next.
I really like your music. Can I sing it? Yeah, just don't pretend like you invented it. All right, very cool. The king can sing it. The king of what, Elvis? The king of what? I really like your music.
Okay, so Elvis never claimed to be the king of rock and roll. I see this guy's point here. He's saying that Elvis claimed he was the king of rock and roll. No, he actually hated that title. Again, there's proof of this if you're interested. He rejected that title, actually. He knew that he didn't invent rock and roll, and he rejected the title king of rock and roll. He didn't like being called king of rock and roll. He never pretended it was his. That's the thing. Like, he never was out here saying that this music that he was singing belonged to him. The whole point of Elvis Presley and what he did for the world is he showed that music had no race and music had no boundaries and music should not be segregated based on the color of your skin. So yeah, he did not claim music or pretend it was his, pretty much. Next.
Talking bad about Elvis? You're talking about a new low? Oh, hang on a second. Let's not forget that Elvis was pretty much a pedophile. Well, let me guess. Because he could sing and shake his little pelvis around and he came from your hometown, you know, this kind of stuff right here, that's fun, right? Mm-hmm.
It is so embarrassing. It is so embarrassing at this point, like grown people using TikTok to share their opinions about somebody that they genuinely don't know anything about. Like, hello? Girl, first of all, the definition of a pedophile. The definition of a pedophile, right, is someone who has a sexual interest in children. Not what Elvis Presley was doing, girl. He was not a pedophile. I'm sick of hearing it. Met Priscilla in September of 1959, and they started seeing more of each other in October. And they saw each other until Elvis moved back to America in March. They saw each other for pretty much around 6 to 7 months. After he moved back to America, Elvis did not see Priscilla again until June of 1962 when she was 17 years old. And then she moved into Graceland in October of 1962 when she was 17, almost 18 years old. They got married on May 1st, 1967 when she was 21 years old. So no, Elvis did not marry a 14-year-old girl. Like, instead of spending your time making TikToks bashing someone that you clearly don't know anything about, you should put that amount of effort and time into actually learning the truth about what happened, maybe even the timeline of the ages here. That would help you a lot, and it would save yourself some embarrassment, because at this point, it's getting to be a lot. Okay, moving on. Not this song. Okay. Hulk A. Okay. So that one was saying Elvis was still alive. He's not. I think that was like the Pastor Bob Joyce or something like that. That was just kind of a funny one. Okay. Take the load off for a little bit. Okay. Here we go.
Did Elvis Presley become famous by appropriating black music? Welcome to part 2 of my series on the history of cultural appropriation. Today we're talking about the so-called king of rock and roll. Now, Elvis Presley wasn't always the status he is now. Actually, when he started performing in Las Vegas, he was considered boring and a flop. But then his career exploded when he recorded a version of Big Mama Thornton's song, Hound Dog. Actually, throughout his career, he copied black dances and songs, including Baby Let's Play House by Arthur Neil Gunter, Otis Blackwell's Don't Be Cruel, and Lloyd Price's Loudy Miss Cloudy. But he was just doing covers, right? So what's wrong with that? In reality, it wasn't that innocent. His producer, Sam Phillips, who some call the man who created Elvis, literally said, if I could find a white man who had the Negro sound and the Negro feel, I could make $1 billion. Elvis's entire brand was built on the intentional appropriation of black culture, and he received fame, acclaim, and money that these black artists never saw. Now the black artists are largely forgotten, while a white man became the face of a genre created by black American. Follow for part 3 where we'll look at the Beatles.
Girl, not the Beatles. Okay. Okay. It was, okay, first of all, not Big Mama Thornton's song. She did not write it. It was actually written by two white people, Lieber and Stroller, who wrote that song for her. And then Elvis saw it performed by some lounge acts, and the words were changed and everything by people in between Big Mama Thornton singing it and Elvis getting it. Words were changed, styles were changed, everything like that. And then Elvis saw the lounge acts do it, and then he decided that he wanted to record it because he liked that song. I will actually insert the clip of an interview with those two men who wrote Hound Dog for you right now.
No more. Now, when she did the song, and it was kind of it was a hit. It was a big rhythm and blues hit. Then it was covered by some lounge acts, and they changed the words. And Presley heard a lounge act with the changed words, with Rabbit, and he cut that version.
So now, does the guy who changed the words get a cut?
Nothing, absolutely nothing.
Oh, there you go. Pretty good deal.
It was an unauthorized adaptation.
Yeah.
right?
You guys are an
So that was the first area that you messed up in. Sam Phillips, I think he missed the point of the whole Sam Phillips thing. I think he was trying to do what we all talk about now, is spreading that sound, that different kind of sound, to a new audience, was obviously going to make a lot of money because it's something that they had never heard before and something that was new and fresh to them, and they'd probably like it because they were bored of the music that they had. So yes, it was going to bring in a lot of money. It wasn't that he wanted to see a white man singing black music and that was going to make a lot of money. So there's more to the story than what he hit on. Also, when he was saying that the black artists never saw, like, they didn't get as much money as Elvis did, or that they're now forgotten because Elvis sang their songs, that is so false. Literally, everybody still knows Little Richard, B.B. King. Who else did he even say? There were some other people in here that he was talking about. Otis Blackwell, everybody knows. He was even quoted saying, like, I don't sound like anybody. And then the way he moved on stage was just how the music made him feel. He was just acting natural and authentically on stage based off of what the music made him feel personally. So he wasn't like on stage being like, oh, what was that one dance move that I saw like last night? He was inspired by people, but he did not copy other people.
He was so fucking sure he had the right. But he's ugly, and I'm glad he's dead, 'cause there was no fucking candle in his pumpkin head. You're not special.
Okay, so she just said the same thing that we've been saying this whole time. Basically, the Southern Life, the Joel Williamson's claims that she made. I have an entire video up on Instagram on my IGTV series, for those of you watching this on YouTube, where I debunk that entire article. So if you want to go check that out, I talk about that more in depth there. And just for time's sake, I won't get too much into it now. She called him ugly. Okay, that's okay. We all know he wasn't, but you know what? You're allowed to have your opinion, just like we're allowed to have ours. That's okay. The way that she said he marriage to a 14-year-old, okay. Luring 14-year-olds, no. I don't even need to go into it at this point. And then at the end, what did she say? Oh, the Big Mama Thornton, he stole her song. We just went into that. It wasn't her song to begin with. It was written by 2 white people. So, yeah.
It is hot as hell in this funky ass, hot ass room I'm in. Is that the Grim Reaper?
I don't even have words. I don't even have words for how disgusting that is. It's not funny at all. And making fun of how someone died is really probably one of the lowest things that you could do. I feel bad for her, actually. Yeah. Okay, so on that note, I think I'm actually done. I've had my fill. Thanks to everyone who sent me some videos to use in this episode. I really appreciated that. I could not have done this without you, so thank you for helping me out. If you are on TikTok and you see some of these things being said, or, you know, rumors, videos being shared, don't be afraid to comment, maybe spread some little bit of education to them. Or don't, because most of the time they're probably not going to listen to you anyways. So that's why I'm just reacting to them. I'm not going out and commenting on their stuff because it probably would get me nowhere. That's all for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and a thumbs down if you did not. And if you're watching this on Instagram, make sure to follow me for more Let's Talk Elvis videos, where we talk about not only the amazing entertainer that Elvis was, but the even more amazing human being that he was. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!